little bit of overtime. But my throat's kind of raspy and kind of sore, so I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit, if that's all right. Now, because I say I'm going to try it, I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm really going to put it in for just to kind of talk to us like you did last Sunday night. But if you got your Bibles, the first chapter of the book of Philippians, verses 3 through 11. If you have that, and I'm not sure if you're going to put it on here or not, if not, if you got your Bibles, Philippians chapter 1, verse 3 through 11. This is Paul speaking, and here's what he says. He says, I thank my God upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making requests with joy. I like this part, verse 5. It says, for your fellowship. Think about this. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ, even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart. Paul's talking about this because he says, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel, you all are partakers of my grace. For God is my record, how greatly I long after you all in the bowels of Jesus Christ. And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment, that you may approve things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense till the day of Christ, being filled with the fruits of righteousness which are by Jesus Christ, unto the glory and praise of God. Amen. Tonight, I'd like for us to go back almost 2,000 years ago to the city of Rome. And it's an exciting time if you lived in Rome during that time, because it's a big metropolis. This was a time when they had the gladiators and the chariots and the palaces and all of those good things that you see in the movies, but we're not going to step foot in the Colosseum or the Emperor's Palace. Instead, we're going to go and look into a little drab room. And inside we see a man, and he's seated on the floor. He's now an older fella. His shoulders are stooped and his head is balding. Chains are on his hands and feet that are also attached by a longer chain to a Roman guard. It's the Apostle Paul. Paul, who has traveled all over the world in his day. This man whose message about Jesus has liberated people in almost every city that he ever went to. This man who was bound only by the will of God is now bound by chains. He's restricted by walls, he's accused by his enemies, and he's scheduled for trial in the court of one of the cruelest of all emperors, Nero. What's Paul doing this day? He's writing a letter. No doubt, it's a complaint letter to God. He's upset at the situation that he's up against. Is probably a list of grievances. No doubt he's writing a New Testament version of the book of Lamentations. You see, he has every reason to be bitter, and he has every reason to complain. But he does not do that. Instead, he's writing a letter that now, even 2,000 years later, is known as the letter of joy. Now, did you understand where I said he was at? He was in prison. He was under house arrest, but he still had chains on his hands, chains on his feet, and another chain over to a guard. But what he's doing, he's writing what we know now as a letter of joy, and he wrote it in one of the worst times of his life. And that's a letter that we're going to be kind of looking at tonight. Anybody golfers or think they're golfers here tonight? Anybody ever play golf? Okay. One golfer, his name is Bobby Jones, he once said, have you ever noticed how much golfers practice? He said, smart businessmen and women have been quick to take advantage of that, developing public driving ranges where we can practice driving the ball. Practice and putting on the greens where we can practice our putting. But then he asked the question, he said, why in the world hasn't somebody developed public sand traps? Sand traps are an inevitable part of the game of golf, and every golfer ought to practice ahead of time how to get out of trouble on a sand trap. So, he says, I think it's good advice for us, for even as you and I talk about being thankful for all the blessings that come our way, we've got to admit that problems and troubles also come our way along with the good times. Do they not? We have troubles. We have situations that come up. Where in the world did that come from? Well, it was Norman Vincent Peale who said, now think about what he said. He said, yeah, problems are a part of life. All of us are going to have problems right up to the moment we die. But then he adds a little bit more. And some of you are going to have problems after you die. So I want to be ready to go when the Lord comes back. So it only makes sense that if we're going to find ourselves in sand traps, that we learn how to get out of them. And the letter to the Philippians, written by Paul, can help us do just that. Once again, he writes this letter while in Rome, in prison, in what they call house arrest. Today, courts enforce house arrest by attaching an electronic monitor somewhere on your wrist or ankle or something like that. That's pretty much all you have to worry about. But back then, in Paul's day, they simply chained the prisoner to Roman soldiers 24 hours a day. And that was usually better than being in the dungeon, but Roman soldiers could be very cruel, and house arrest was not a cakewalk by any means. It wasn't something anybody desired to have in their life. Yet, Paul's letter, even under house arrest, with some burly monster right beside him, Paul writes in Philippians chapter 1, verse 3, he says, I always pray with joy. So if we look at these scriptures for just a little while, if you have any questions or thoughts, and I don't see you, say, hey, whoa, wait, or raise your hand or something, I'll try to catch you. Paul begins by saying that prayer, it should be a first response rather than a last resort. What am I saying? You know what I'm saying. We try everything else under the sun, and then when that doesn't work, what do? Oh, Jesus, listen, please hear my prayer. Am I right? It seems like that's what we do. But this is what Paul is saying. He says in verse 3 and 4, he says, I thank my God every time I remember you. In all my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy. And then in chapters 4 through 6, he says, don't be anxious or don't be careful about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition or supplication, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So what's Paul saying here? He's saying that whenever anything happens to him, whether it's positive or negative, he prays. Now, that's the first response that you do. He prays. He says, God, I thank you for the blessing that you give me. God, I even thank you for the troubles that come my way. Then he says, now, Lord, teach me the lessons that I need to learn from them. Paul always started his prayer. But for a lot of us, we wait until we're knee-deep in the sand traps of life, if you please, and there seems to be no way out of our problems. Then we call upon God and we cry, oh Lord, help me, help me, help me, I'm in trouble. We turn to prayer almost as a last resort. A number of years ago, U.S. airplane crashed near Pittsburgh. The cause of that crash was a mystery, because the plane just seemed to fall from the sky. So it was great interest that the investigators listened to the information recorded in the plane's little black box. CNN played a portion of that recording on the air, revealing that there were just a few seconds from the time the pilot detected trouble until the plane crashed. Now, I want you to get this. The black box tells you a lot. The black box revealed these sounds in the cockpit. First, there was an oath, followed by a profanity and a string of curse words. Then came the crash, and then silence. Now, let me ask you this. You suddenly discovered that you had just a few seconds left to live, how would you react? The question is, would you curse or would you pray? I'll tell you what you would do. You would respond instinctively. Think about it. If you're used to using all kinds of junk words, you hit your toe, you mash your finger, shoot is going to be very mild compared to what you're going to be saying. You know what I'm talking about here. You would respond instinctively. You wouldn't have time to think about it. Well, should I curse or should I pray? You would just respond in the way that is most natural for you to respond. Aristotle said it like this: we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, it's a habit. So what kind of habits do we develop in our life to make us one kind of a person or another kind of person? It's all habit. Richard Dehan told a story of a soldier who was doing sentry duty back in World War I. After being relieved of duty, as a Christian, he wanted to pray, to thank God for protecting him, and to ask for his continual protection. But the enemy lines were very close, and he couldn't go far, so he just walked a little ways from where he had been standing guard, and he knelt down and he began to pray. Nothing wrong with that, I wouldn't think. But the guard or the sentry who replaced him heard his voice and thought he was speaking to someone in enemy lines. So he reported him to the officers. The officer in charge said, "Sir, or son, you've been accused of revealing secrets to the enemy. How do you respond?" The soldier said, "Sir, it's not true. I wasn't doing that." Well, the officer replied, "Then what in the blankety blank were you doing when you were out there facing the enemy and talking?" The young man said, "Sir, I was praying." The officer was startled. "You were praying out loud?" "Yes, I was, sir." So the officer, kind of indignant, said, "Okay, show me. Pray right now." So the young man knelt and began to pray. And when he had finished praying, this officer, with tears running down his cheeks, he dismissed all the charges. He said, "Son, nobody can pray like that unless he's been practicing." I think that's a pretty good testament, don't you? So what do you do naturally when troubles come your way? Paul says that prayer should be a first response and not a last resort. Can we say amen to that? We need to pray ahead of time, all right? Prayer should be offered in an attitude of gratitude. Prayer should be offered in an attitude of gratitude rather than as a complaint. Am I the only one that is guilty of sometimes praying to the Lord and telling him a whole laundry list of stuff I don't like? "Lord, you got to take care of this. Lord, take care of that. Lord, I don't know what's going on with this person, but Lord, you touch him." Am I talking straight here? It's probably happened to all of us. Paul says this: nothing inhibits prayer more than a grumbling, complaining spirit. Verse 3, Paul writes, he says, "I thank my God every time I remember you." Now that's an amazing statement. Because if you go back and read it in the book of Acts about Paul's visit to Philippi, you'll find that some very bad things happened to him while he was there. He could have said, "Yeah, I remember that little girl, a demon-possessed slave girl who followed us around and continually harassed us. I remember how they arrested us and they beat us up and they put us in chains. Then they tossed us deep in that dark and dirty dungeon. Oh, yeah, I remember that terrible experience we had in Philippi." He didn't say that. You know what Paul said? He said, "I remember Lydia and how she and all her household became Christians. I remember casting a demon out of a slave girl and seeing her set free. I remember the Philippian jailer and his family and all those other people who are now followers of our Savior, Jesus Christ. And when I remember, I thank my God for you because you were there with me." Just like Paul. We have a choice, folks. Positive and negative things happen every day. You can focus on the negative and become an unhappy grumbler if you want to. But if you'll focus on gratitude, wonderful things can happen in your life. I can't explain it. But when you start thinking about the things you're thankful for, somehow, some way, things just seem to turn out different. Amen? You with me here? The second thing we see is that Paul was confident that they would allow God to continue working through them. Verse 6 says, he says, being confident of this, that he who begun a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Jesus. See, God has a plan for every one of us. God has a plan for every one of us that are sitting here. There's a task that he wants us to do. And if we don't do it, there's many times that task will not get done. There's a place that he wants us to fill. And he's not finished with us yet. Aren't you glad of that? There's a story told about a 300-pound man. He went to his preacher and said, "Preacher, I'm so depressed. I've tried to lose weight and I can't. I can't even get a date. I feel like an outcast in society. Can you help me?" The preacher said, "Well, I think I can." I got to get a drink of water before I finish this. He said, "Yeah, I think I can help you. Go home and be ready at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and knock on my door." So at exactly 8 o'clock the next morning, the doorbell rang and the man opened the door expecting the preacher to be there. But instead there stood a beautiful girl dressed in a jogging outfit who said, "The preacher says, if you can catch me, I'm yours." Then she took off running. Well, this guy took off after her, huffing and puffing. Of course, he didn't catch her. This went on for 6 whole months. Every morning she was there, and every morning he chased her, huffing and puffing. But over that 6-month period of time, he lost 120 pounds, and next to the last morning, folks, he almost caught her. Oh, glory, hallelujah. He almost caught her. Well, he could hardly wait. Man, he couldn't sleep that night. I want to catch her this morning. I feel good in my spirit. You know, he's getting all excited over this girl. So the next morning, oh, he couldn't sleep. The doorbell rang, he opened it eagerly, and there stood a 300-pound woman. She said, "The preacher said that if I can catch you, you're mine." Now, that's not quite the way that I would handle the situation, but I suppose it's one way of utilizing the potential in people. Paul looks at the people at this town in Philippi and says, "Folks, I see great potential in you there. I see God working in you, and he's ready to complete his work." Paul had developed some deep relationships with the people that were in Philippi. When you read his letter, you sense that Paul really loved those folks. I tell you the truth, I've been to churches. I've pastored 6 or 7 churches. And I've loved every place I've been. Oh, we had, just like we have here, we've had people come and they've had pastors to come and you've had the same situation. But you love people. You find out how much you love people. And I believe this is what Paul is saying here. He says, it's all right for me to feel this way about all of you, since I have you in my heart. If a pastor doesn't have a church in his heart, there's no place else for him to have them. May I say that? Honestly, you got to love people in this business. But whether I'm in chains or defending and confirming the gospel, all of you share in God's grace with me. He says, God can testify how I long for all of you with the affection of Christ. In other words, I love you just like Jesus loves you. Now, listen to what I'm saying here. When you're in trouble, it's important to have friends who will stand beside you. You go ahead and say amen. It's important. It's very important. Friends who will be there through thick and thin that you can always count upon. You know they'll never leave you nor forsake you. But listen to me. If you're always grumbling, self-centered, and discontented, you may get attention, but it's not going to last very long. People soon get tired of listening to your complaints. Here's the thing. We should pray for God's glory rather than for our own. Any thoughts? Any comments? You saying agree? Okay. I thought you were going to say something. I thought you were going to short for us tonight. Okay. I want to think about Linda Burgess. story is that she literally gave herself away. She was an outstanding teacher who felt that someday when she had the time, she would like to devote herself to painting and to writing poetry. But when she was 28 years old, however, she began to get severe headaches. Her doctors discovered that she had an enormous brain tumor. They told her that her chances were very slim of surviving an operation. Actually, only about 2%. Therefore, rather than operate immediately, they decided to wait for at least 6 months. She was convinced that her talent had been given to her for a reason. So during those 6 months, she wrote and she painted feverishly. All of her poetry, except her last poem, were published in magazines. All of her paintings, except for her last one, were shown and sold at some of the leading art galleries in that area. At the end of 6 months, they scheduled the operation. The night before the operation, she decided to literally give herself away. In case of her death, she wrote a will in which she donated all of her usable body parts to those who needed them. Unfortunately, Linda's operation was not successful, and her will was carried out. Her eyes went to an eye bank in Bethesda, Maryland, and from there to a recipient in South Carolina. As a result, a young man, 28, went from darkness to sight because of her eyes. This young man was so profoundly grateful that he wrote to the eye bank, thanking them for even existing. It was only the second thank you letter that the eye bank had ever received after giving out more than 30,000 eyes. People just don't thank you like they used to be, or like they ought to be. Furthermore, he said he wanted to thank the parents of the donors. So after a lot of red tape and talking and persuading, he got a chance to visit with the parents. He was thinking on the way to see them, to meet them. He said, they surely must be indeed magnificent folks to have a child who would give away her eyes. So he was given the name of the family and decided to fly up to see them. He arrived unannounced and rang the doorbell. After hearing who he was, the mom of the girl, Ms. British, she reached out and embraced him. And after just visiting with him for a while, she said, young man, if it's possible, my husband and I would love for you to spend the weekend with us. She kept looking at this young man, thinking, I've seen him somewhere. So he stayed, and as he was looking around Linda's room, he saw that she had read Plato. He had read Plato in Braille. She had read Hegel. He read Hegel in Braille. The next morning, Mrs. Bertish looked at him and she said, son, you know, I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before, but I just don't know where. All of a sudden, she jumped up. She remembered. She ran upstairs, pulled out the last picture that Linda had ever painted. It was a portrait of her ideal man. The picture was virtually identical in appearance to this young man who had received Linda's eyes. Then her mother read the last poem that Linda had ever written. It said, two hearts passing in the night, falling in love, never able to gain each other's sight. See, there was another poem written a few years before that, and it said, What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sin we grief to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to him in prayer. Have you trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? You should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Is prayer a first response to us, or is it a last resort? Do you pray in an attitude of gratitude, or are you always grumbling when you pray? When you pray, do you make sure that God receives the glory and not you? I believe the Lord is trying to simply tell us tonight there are millions of people watching two football teams play. I believe the Lord is still in the business of touching our hearts. And the Lord wants us to be touched tonight, to know and to understand that he knows everything we have going on. He knows our hurts. He knows our pain. But I believe he also smiles when he sees the joy that you and I help somebody else with. God knows us, folks. And on television, I understand some of the commercials and some of the halftime festivities. They're going to be ripping and snorting everybody up the sun. But I'll tell you what. You see, that game is only temporal. It's going to last a few hours, and a few days or weeks or months, it's going to be over with, and nobody's going to care. But where we spend eternity is the most important decision we'll ever make. We need to know where we're going. And all we have to do is say, Lord, come into my heart. Forgive me of my sins, and come into my heart. And allow me to start the journey with my you. That's what God wants us to understand. I believe we can have, even when things are not going the way we hope they should, when things aren't happening as fast as we think they ought to happen, we don't want to grumble and complain about it. But you know what I think? This old preacher thinks we need to be thankful for everything God does for us. And even on a Super Bowl Sunday, I'm glad I'm in church. And I'm glad I'm talking about Jesus. About 40-some years now, I'm not tired of it yet. I thought I was retired. But I'm so glad I'm not retired. I mean that with all my heart. God has a plan for all of us, folks. And I want to have an attitude of gratitude for him. Would you bow your heads with me? Father, we thank you for